Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm every series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat the stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It actually kind of was hard to get a hold of this. I had to go to quite a few stores. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yam around about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside the truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, why I wear super cool shirts? I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? Well, it just so happens to be my Clockwork Echo shirt, which I've worn in a few reviews. Clockwork Echo, they are a kind of industrial electronica metal-ish duo. I ran into these folks last year in 2023. They were one of the openers for a guy named Tim Skold. I really enjoyed their set, thought they were really cool. And then just a couple months later, Tim Skold, his second outfit called Not My God, they came around and Clockwork Echo came with them, which was super cool. And then, just like a month or two after that, another sort of branch of that family called Cyclone 9 came around, and they brought Clockwork Echo with them again. So I actually got to see them perform 3 times last year. Really enjoyed it. Got to chat with them a little bit. Extremely cool people. Sadly, they actually had their van broken into, and some of their equipment was stolen. Thankfully, I think at this point they've mostly recouped everything. But, like, I always fucking hate it when I hear about that shit, man. It's always such a dirtbag fucking thing, you know. And I was talking with them after the fact and everything, and they're like, most of what they fucking stole were just, like, totes of basically, like, t-shirts and merch that we had. Like, it really didn't get much in the way of, but obviously it still fucking sucks. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I really enjoy these folks. I actually have a number of videos of their performances that I've attended. They're on this channel as well, just in case you're interested. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why was it hard to find? I actually don't know the answer to that, but I'm doing boom! It is Mug Zero Sugar. Ooh, let's get a thing for the thing. Get a thing for the thing. Yeah, man, so it's Mug root beer, but it's the zero sugar version. This was recently announced, like just maybe a few weeks ago, and ever since it was announced, I've been trying to find it, because, for one thing, I love root beer. I love root beer so much, I have an entire playlist called Root Beer Reviews, which is just for root beer. This review will end up on there. But I was also really interested to see how this would work, because Mug root beer was like my favorite root beer up until probably like my late teens, early 20s. That's when I started kind of really shifting away from it. And one of the real highlights of Mug is that it is a sweeter root beer. They use more sugar in it. How does that translate to a zero sugar? Let's find out together. I hope I like it, because I had to buy a 12-pack to get a hold of this. Open. Smells like Mug. Mug definitely has its own distinct taste. Let's give it a go. Okay. Alright, what did they flavor you with? Aspartame. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh! Aspartame and sucralose. Okay, so they used a combination of sweeteners to get that sweet flavor. Okay. Alright. I mean, point for point, it does taste like Mug, like it has, certain qualities to it that it's identifiable as being related to Mug. It also definitely is a zero sugar product, though they do a pretty good job of, I'm not going to say masking, but limiting how much effect that zero sugar aspect has. And what I mean by that is, I've reviewed a lot of zero sugar stuff on the show over the years now. yeah, you can use other sweeteners, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's obviously going to change, the way that it tastes to some degree. It's just not the same thing as sugar. So it definitely, you can tell it's not the classic mug. It definitely has, that zero sugar taste to it. But it's not hugely abrasive. It's, I reviewed, maybe 2 years ago now, A&W came out with a zero sugar version of theirs. And go watch that review if you're interested. But, like, my overall thoughts on it were kind of, I actually kind of liked it because I felt it gave a little bit more of an edge to A&W, which is typically very sweet. And for me, like, the sweeter, more commercial root beers, like A&W and Mug, are not my personal go-tos. They're fine, I'll drink them, I don't have anything hugely against them, but I prefer root beers that are a little bit more earthy, have a little bit more bite to them. So with the A&W, I kind of appreciated that them withdrawing some of that sugar actually kind of gave it a little bit more bite. With this, not quite the same thing. It just kind of tastes a little bit diminished from what I'm associated with the normal mug flavor. It's just not quite as full. But it's not bad, and it's not lacking in flavor or anything. It's just, yeah. And they, they definitely did try to kind of hide it to a certain extent. The way that it comes through, typically with zero sugar stuff, when you do get that zero sugar hit, it's a punch, and either it comes at the end or, sometimes somewhere in the middle. With this, I feel like they tried to spread it out. So instead of getting one big hit, it kind of rides through. It's not a bad zero sugar soda. And I think that's, indicative of the fact that as time has gone by, companies have gotten better and better at hiding, or finding ways to work with that zero sugar aspect. And this definitely, I would say, qualifies. It's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's definitely, I do think it's a pretty good zero sugar root beer. I think that it's still evocative of being tasting like mug. But yeah, it's definitely still zero sugar. 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Probably not. And sure-ish. I think for me personally, it doesn't help that, again, mug is just not my favorite root beer. So my inclination to get it again is already hampered because I don't get mug very often. However, in this format, though it's not bad, again, like overall, it's pretty tasty. I can still kind of get down with it. It's just one of those things where it's like, you're already taking a product that I'm not that huge into, and then you're kind of winding it back a little bit from even that much. So yeah, for me, it's just like, no, I wouldn't get this again. I think if I was going to get a zero sugar again, I might even go A&W over this. That's just me personally. If I'm recommending it, though, I'd try it. Because I really do want to emphasize, like, it's not bad. And I think if you're somebody who you already enjoy mug, and maybe you are looking to, maybe, decrease the amount of sugar you're taking in or what have you, I think that this is something that you could go over there and maybe get behind. Because although, yes, it does have a zero sugar aspect to it, it's not atrocious. I don't think it ruins the drink by any means. And it does just, like I said, it still tastes basically like mug, just a little bit different. So it might be something to try out. And I think that, yeah, if you're over there, if you happen to run into it, I think I eventually got mine at Walmart, I want to say, but I don't know. I went to like 3 Walmarts and couldn't find it. Finally, I went to a random one I never go to, and they had it. It's definitely worth trying. I don't know if it's going to be anybody's favorite, but I also don't know that it's not, because I do think that ultimately I think it's well constructed, and I think that they worked with it in a nice way. It's just not for me. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your Folks, you go over there and have yourselves a truly root beer-tastic rest of your life, because root beer is wunderbar. Love it. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in those situations, it's important we go over there, at least try when we can. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you're going to try out some zero sugar mug, right? And you're going to go over there, and maybe you've been a huge mug fan your whole life. Now you're going to try this out, and you're like, okay, it's pretty good. I can get behind it. So then you're over there, and, maybe you got the 12-pack like I did. And maybe, just every can slowly dwindles away. Maybe by the end of it, you're just like, you know what? I think I'm just a zero sugar mug person now. So now you're over there, you're a zero sugar mud person, you have a whole conscience, a whole crisis of conscience, who even am I? And go on this whole, journey of self-discovery and everything like that. And at the end of it all, you realize that really the mug root beer was the friends that we made along the way. Or conversely, bye.